I took it and I ran with it, and everyone, I think to this day, will say it's the best thing that happened to me. I came out that year in college and had a breakout year, ended up winning the Patty
Mhm.
Kazmaier Trophy. Um,
Yep.
but I think it just kind of made me into the person I am because, you're going to have those breaks and those failures, but it's how you get up from that and it's how you choose to come back and battle. I didn't feel bad for myself. I gave myself like a day, probably, maybe a week. But after that, I was like, okay, they didn't want me. I'm going to make sure the next time a spot's open for me, I'm going to make it not even a choice. I'm going to show up and I'm going to prove that that's my place.
Fearless SC presents My Name Is.
Welcome back to My Name Is. I'm your host, Bonnie-Jill Laflin. I couldn't be more excited about this guest. Taylor Heise, the first ever PWHL Draft pick, star forward for Minnesota Frost, which actually happens to be her hometown, Minnesota. Already a two-time Walter Cup champion, also a former Patty Kazmaier Award winner, which obviously is the college hockey's highest honor for the top female player in the country, and already a two-time PWHL Walter Cup champion. Like I said, two times. First of all, Taylor, I don't know, I could go on and on with your resume. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
So you made history as a first pick, not just overall, but overall in this entire league. What was that moment like? And especially with Billie Jean King introducing you?
Yeah, it was an unreal moment, and I think the videos, the pictures, everything that shows it is going to be something that's stuck not only in my phone but in my brain. It was a really special moment, just with all the work I put in before that. I think it was important for me to see that I put myself in a good position. I didn't know if I was going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, but was just excited to be there. And then obviously when Billie Jean King walked up to the podium for the first pick, I was like, hoping it was me, not only because it would meant that Minnesota had the first pick, but that she was going to announce. And when I got up there and talked to her, I have no idea what I said because I blacked out. I've been able to speak with her a few more times since then, but we've gone over that a little bit, being like, I don't remember what I said. Thank you for being there and everything, but it was an amazing moment.
And you say that you kind of blacked out, but was there any moment like where you thought about all the work you'd put into that point, Taylor, and just looking back to your journey as when you started as a child?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the video on my phone, and I remember she called my name, and then I went and I hugged my mom, hugged my dad, hugged my agent. And then I think the moment that I walked on stage, and everyone that I know, whether they're up to being drafted, my best friend Grace Winkle was there, my family and everyone, just like walking past them and realizing how much work had been put into this moment, not just by me, by my family, by my friends, by my loved ones and support system, like just having my entire life on scene there, and just knowing that how much work I've put in before that, and going back to like my childhood, because I had no idea what was going to happen. Like little Taylor would have zero clue what's going on right now, just because there wasn't anything like this before. So I couldn't have even dreamed it up. Like some people say this used to be a dream. It wasn't even a dream for me, because I didn't have that dream. I had no idea what the future held for me in hockey. I knew more about basketball at that point. So, just walking up to the stage, I think I just, took 5 seconds and just, thank God for putting me in that position. But it was an amazing, amazing time in Toronto for that.
And you speak of your dream. I mean, you think about being drafted first overall, then you get not just one, but two, two championships in its first 2 years. What is the secret sauce of this domination that you guys are doing over there?
I think it's important to start with, if you put our team on paper, as well as any other team in the league, people were not picking us right away. And I think the first year, people believed in us less. And then I think the second year, people believed in us even more, or even less than before. So, but as a group, we talked about that. We took that underdog role and we ran with it. The first year, there was a lot of firsts. There was an inaugural, first game, first home game, first away game, first playoff game, first Walter Cup championship game. So that was all super fun. And I remember someone telling me, it's going to keep being fun if you make it fun. So for me, that second year, it was even more fun. And for me, obviously, was the MVP of the playoffs. That meant I had to, chalk it up and get better. So for me, I love pressure. I think pressure makes diamonds. So I think for me, it's like the second I get pressure, the more I want to be there and the more I want to compete and get better. So I think for our team, we've talked about it. We've been the underdogs. I would say third time's the charm. So we'll see if we'll work it out this year. But we just took that underdog mentality. We ran with it. We knew whoever was there in that building for us, we were going to play for them and play for our families at home. And that's what we did. And I think, it wasn't an easy route. We had a lot of injuries and a lot of hardships, whether that be flights getting missed, getting on buses instead, things like that. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it interesting too. So.
And Taylor, you talk about being an underdog with your back against the wall. Now, you were cut from the last Olympic team. What kind of changed your mindset, your game, to be now one of the prominent central figures on Team USA?
Yeah, I've talked about it before, but I kind of learned, but like you could play hockey in the Olympics when I was 14, super late. Like that's most girls on the teams that I've played with are like, I grew up wanting to play in the Olympics for Team USA and all that stuff. So for me, it was super cool because I never got burnt out on that idea like, oh, I've been wanting this since I was 5. I knew I wanted to be successful and maybe an Olympian in that sense, but I didn't know hockey was my path. So I would say, I think it was 2022. I was going to go into my senior year of college, and my college coach at that time was the Olympic coach. And I didn't think that meant anything for me. Obviously, there's no special treatment. It's whoever's playing best on this Olympic stage. I ended up getting cut from that. And, it seemed like the worst thing that ever happened to me in the moment. But my best friends and my family will say it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I realized, I'm not someone with an ego. I feel like I don't walk around and exude that. I try to be humble and kind to everyone that I meet. But I took it and I ran with it, and everyone, I think to this day, will say it's the best thing that happened to me. I came out that year in college and had a breakout year, ended up winning the Patty Kazmaier Trophy. But I think it just kind of made me into the person I am because, you're going to have those breaks and those failures, but it's how you get up from that, and it's how you choose to come back and battle. I didn't feel bad for myself. I gave myself like a day, probably, maybe a week. But after that, I was like, okay, they didn't want me. I'm going to make sure the next time a spot's open for me, I'm going to make it not even a choice. I'm going to show up and I'm going to prove that that's my place.
I love that. I love that mindset. Now, you're born in Minnesota, obviously, played college hockey for the Gophers. Now you're playing professionally for the Frost. What is that like that you're now building your whole career through your hometown? And do you feel sometimes how there's maybe even some distractions being there, or do you like being right there in Minnesota?
I would say this is my place. It's hard to get distracted when you love what you're doing. I have a house in Minnesota. I grew up in Minnesota. I didn't always knew I wanted to go to the Gophers. I think that is a pressure that a lot of people feel. And for me, I didn't feel that. My family never put pressure on me. My grandparents were actually Badger fans. I say were because I think I changed them over to Gopher fans.
Yeah, hopefully,
but,
right?
hopefully. Yeah, I just think being in Minnesota, it's obviously a lot. I remember coming into the Frost and my coach at the time was saying, I don't want this to be too much for you. I don't want you to feel like you're overwhelmed. It's hard to be 24, 25 with your face on the rafters and exactly. The rink and outside the rink and everything. But I just have such a cool support system and family and loved ones that make sure that they know what I feel when I feel overwhelmed. They can see it. And they know exactly how to counteract that. And being in Minnesota, whether that be growing up, playing college hockey, I would have never given up my 5 years at the University of Minnesota for anything. I came out with 6 best friends and a lifetime of love. And then obviously I met my fiance there as well too.
Yeah,
so
I was going to ask you about that later.
Super fun. And then playing professionally, I remember the day that when the PWHL said it was going to be put into play, we didn't know a draft order. And I knew I put myself in a good position where, I was hopefully going to go 1 through 3 or 1 through 4. And I remember the day that they got to do the draft pick order. And I remember Minnesota at the top, and I actually started crying because I knew at that moment that I had put myself in that great spot. Had some good conversations with every team, including Minnesota. And then obviously when I got picked to Minnesota, that was a dream come true. I plan to stay in Minnesota, raise my kids here. So this is my place for sure.
It obviously keeps you grounded. And I see how much you do within the community. And you just hosted a youth skills camp. And how does that make you feel to be the position you're in, Taylor, but also now to be giving back to the future generation and right there in your town and in Minnesota?
Yeah, I love to talk to the kids that I, coach and mentor when it comes to training, because for me it looked a lot different than for them. I've done some things down in my hometown. I've done some things in Red Wing, Minnesota, where I went to high school. But when I trained, I did a lot of my own training in my garage, shooting pucks by myself. Maybe my parents, my brothers passing me pucks. I had a pond outside, but a lot of where I got my work was my grandpa and my parents would drive me an hour and a half to the cities.
Okay.
I didn't get the ability to just not show up one day. Like, if I wanted to go, I would let my mom know and my dad. I'm like, I would love to go to hockey today. And that was every day. Don't think it wasn't every day. I had to make sure I asked. My parents were very stable in the fact where we're not driving 2 hours for you to give a 50%. Like, I want you out there going 100%. And I think that that's what made me who I am. So when I'm able to coach these kids, I, always say, I don't want you to come out of here with 50 things that you remember. I want you to remember 3. And one of them being work ethic, and the other one being kind, being nice to your teammates. I will remember the great teammates, but more so remember the best teammates, or the best hockey players, but I'll remember the best teammates that I had more. That's what means more. And these kids, I think these days, there's so many things to do. There's 50 different avenues you can do. And as a 10-year-old, they're stressed. And I'm like, I don't remember what I was doing at 10, but I don't think I was stressed. So I think the biggest thing for them is just to always communicate, like, you should always have fun. Hockey is fun. At a pro level, we even have to remind ourselves of that, because the reason why we play this game isn't for the money. It's for the love that you have and the sport. You're good at it. Like, you're doing something at a pro level. So, I think for me with the kids, being able to mentor them and help them understand hockey shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun.
Yeah, you touch a little bit about your mentors and role models. I'm assuming your parents and grandparents. Was there someone else that instilled a lot into you during your time, Taylor, growing up?
Yeah, I think I didn't, get to watch hockey on our TV till I was about 12, 13. So I never really got to see those, prominent faces. And even back then, women's sports was not close to even what it is right now, prominence wise with women on TV. So I would say when I really learned that hockey was my passion at about 12, 13, I'm grateful to say it now, but I'm playing with my idols. I'm playing with the people that I look up to. I watched the Hillary Knights of the world, the Kendall Coynes, and then I also watched the Natalie Darwitz. I watched Brianna Decker, and all of the other captains of Team USA, as well as Team Canada and other places, just trying to take little things from them. But the more so the things that I took from the captains I've been a part of with teams is, it's the respect factor. You're not going to just follow someone because they're a good hockey player. I want to reiterate it again, like, they are such good people and they check in and they do all these things. So for me to be someone like that in college, I always worked on that. I always wanted to check in with the younger girls. And I want to hope that one day that they tell people that that was me and that I was the one that was checking in. So someone like Hillary Knight, I think, for example, is great. Like, she checks in on me. She'll text me randomly and make sure that I'm doing all right. And the most important thing is we're not on the same team. We play on different PWHL teams. So I think just having great people to surround yourself with, and she's one of them that I got to watch when I was young as well. And she's still kicking it. Like, she's still dominating.
Right.
So.
I was going to say, that's incredible. The emergence of PWHL, I mean, I remember watching the first games and sold out crowds everywhere, the buzz everywhere. I mean, how did that make you feel? I mean, were you expecting that type of fanfare, or what were you expecting at that time?
I think I came in and I told myself I don't want to have expectations. When you have expectations, that can lead to you getting let down. So for me, I was, in my head was like, if there's 5 people there, we're going to play for those 5 people. If there's 10,000 people there, we'll play for them too. And then the first game just like smoked it out of the water. Like, I remember showing up to the rink and being like, whoa, like, this is something special. And like I said, I tried to have no expectations, but that's not easy. Like, having and showing up to the rink and not knowing what it's going to look like was a little bit scary. But I also knew the league is new. The WNBA, the NBA, the NHL were not built overnight. And that's the positive of it all. We've had such amazing crowds and such amazing people who show up, but also like the fan engagement. And we're only starting year 3. So the PWHL, I think, is a great organization. And I also think there's just so much more room to grow for us. And we're excited as players, and I know as staff as well, to continue to grow it so that the kids that watch right now, when they play, there's not going to be anything that they have to work with.
Yeah, it's really exciting. But you've got so many great things going on. But, the end of June, you you got engaged to Parker Fox, who obviously
Mhm.
was a former Gopher basketball player, stand now. I think now he's transitioning into broadcasting. But how is that dynamic? Is there that friendly competition in the household, or like when you guys go to, Dave and Buster's and you're playing skee ball or whatever it is? How is that dynamic with you guys both being athletes?
Yeah, it's cool. I think him transitioning a little bit out of it now. He understands I'm super competitive, always have been, always will be. We're starting to get into pickleball, and we played it for
Ah,
the first time the
okay.
other day. And he knows not to be like, all right, calm down, because when we're as women we're told to calm down. I'm like, well,
Exactly. You're
now
gonna
I'm
do the
not
opposite.
calm. So we were playing, and he's like, it's just a game. Like, let's have fun, let's do it. And that for me, like just him calmly saying that, like I'm calm. We're gonna be
Right.
competitive, but also I think we both understand the dynamic that we're asked. So many people ask so much of us every day. You don't
Mhm.
have that much left to give. And when you're at home, we've lived together for a while now. And when you're at home, like it's so important to understand what the other person needs. Like if I can give 30% today because I've had two skates and I've worked out, and that means he's got to kind of pick up that slack. And I think for us too, the competitive factor never ends, but a lot of it is us being competitive for the other person. Like if I see an opportunity that I think would be great for him, I'm always going to advocate on his behalf. And for him, it's the same, because at the end of the day, we're two people, but at the same point, all of our wins are, each other's. So we try to take it one step at a time, but we do have a lot of fun, and it is competitive. When we play pig, he likes to go and shoot pucks in the shooting room, go on the ice with me. I'll shoot off, and we have a court outside a little bit too. So we'll do that, but it's competitive, but it's fun at the same point.
I love that. Now, both of y'all have probably suffered. I know he had some knee injuries. I think you as well. Did you guys lean on each other or were able to help each other through those moments?
Yeah. Mine this year was super crazy. And, I felt bad that I was even complaining, because for him, he's, torn both of his ACLs back
Mhm.
to back years, not just ACL, he did PCL, MCL, all of it. So I remember the first one, we were just friends in college at the time, and I remember hearing about it. And then the second one, kind of when we were talking a little bit at that point, it was just debilitating. I remember hearing about it from him and just being like, you just feel so bad you don't even know what to say. And I think at that
Mhm.
point, just like him being able to lean on me, and even as friends at that point, it's more friends over relationship when it comes to those things, because you just want that person, just want someone to talk to. They want someone, if that's a shoulder to cry on, if that's needing to rage and just scream in a pillow, that's fine too. And then when
Mhm.
I happened to me this year, kind of at an unfortunate time, but okay timing at the end of the day, I didn't miss any games, but he helped me through it. He helped me to understand, it's not the end of the world. You're going to be fine. But also helping me with rehab. Like, I feel like we bounce ideas off of each other, whether that be social
Mhm.
media, on ice, off ice. Like, he watches enough of my games and he watches enough hockey to know, he's not going to go out there and tell me exactly what to do. But if he sees something, like, I want to get better, and he knows that. So we do a good job of, keeping it civil, but also, bettering each other. We're not here to just stay at 50%. Like, I would love to get 1% better every day if I could. And I know he is the same.
With that being said, who's planning the wedding, Taylor? Is it you or him?
I'm very type A. So
Okay.
it's gonna be a dual thing,
All
but
right.
he also like is like giving me full creative benefits when it comes to colors and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So as he goes, as long as it's just us two, I don't care. And I was like, well, it's not gonna be just us two. There's gonna be other people there. But he's super low maintenance with that, but he knows, like, he trusts me with, I decorated our whole house. So I feel like
Okay.
I have a good touch for those type of things.
Yeah, there we go. I want to switch gears a little bit about growing up, because you did mention that basketball was something that you had a passion for. So, and you grew up obviously in a basketball family. What kind of pulled you towards hockey? What made you say, okay, no, this is there's that fork in the road, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
towards hockey.
Super random. I just got like this like note in my backpack in first grade. One of my friends, his dad started an outdoor league, just like random every Sunday. And then I think we practiced Wednesdays and we play Sundays. And, I remember getting out there, and my mom would tell me even today, she's like, you were so bad. Like, cause no one knew hockey in our family. Like, I didn't even know, like, I had put my left skate on my right foot at one point. So lots of those things where, it was a learning process. And I actually
Mhm.
loved being a type A and being very wanting things a certain way. I didn't have any control over that. I kind of just had to go with the flow and get out there. But the fact that my family and I got to, learn together as a group, learn what offsides is, learn what icing is, learn how to shoot the puck. Like everyone was so intrigued. So I think when I was young, I knew I loved basketball. I really did. My dad was my coach. Both my brothers played. My parents played in college. And one day I remember just skating and being like, this is so freeing to me. Like, not only am I good at it, but I enjoy every time I'm out there. And I remember when I was playing basketball, I had a little like feeling of anxiety. Like I felt like it was all on me and I just kind of had to figure it out. Like, my dad's my coach. My brothers are really good. I was pretty good, but I wanted to make sure that I was like at my best. So I think just that feeling of nervousness while I was playing basketball kind of told me what my path was going to be. And I'm really glad that I had those nerves because, I have no idea where I would be if I continued to play basketball. I know I'd be competitive. I know I would have worked hard enough, to put myself in a good position. But, hockey, I'm happy and I'm glad that I chose that side of things because it's led me down a really cool path.
It really has. And you speak also, I've heard that you're pretty open about being superstitious, I think, Taylor, right? What is your game day ritual or like, I don't know, something you were really superstitious about or maybe even a lucky charm or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I've gotten away from superstitions because of the fact that I have, in college, I really was though. So you're not wrong with that. I think knowing now, like anything can happen. Like I remember in college, like our bus didn't get to the game before we had 20 minutes and that was it. And my routine was like 40. So I had to cut it. And I remembered how much anxiety that gave me. And I remember after the game saying like, I'm done with it. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I can't have that much anxiety about that kind of stuff. So now I like things a certain way. So before games, I would love to have breakfast for dinner. So if a game's at 7 and I leave at 5 or 4:45, I'm going to have dinner at like 4. But it's going to be breakfast. I love having pancakes and eggs and orange juice. It's kind of bizarre, but it does better in my stomach and I feel more energized. Right. And then another thing for me is I really love to have a good 8 hours of sleep. That might just be everyone as a person nowadays.
Yeah, me too.
But 8 hours of sleep is great. And I just, love putting my AirPods in and watching and listening to either, my favorite music or, some motivational speaking / I also love a good game day outfit. So just looking good, feeling good, and playing good.
I was going to say, I love your pregame fashion. I mean, it's called, I think you said you call it your runway. And I love that because you're such, this badass on the ice, but then you can be your feminine, model, go girl, on the runway before you get to the ice. What kind of inspires your looks, Taylor? And because you've gotten really into it, what is it about it?
Yeah. And it's so crazy because if you ask my friends in college, like, I was never like that. First of all, in high school, I never cared. I dressed up one day in high school, and I was started in high school when I was in 8th grade. So one day out of like 6 or 7 years, because I was just hockey focused. I wanted to play. I didn't care. I got to college, didn't really have a good wardrobe. So then I had to start over. And then my college style from now is very different. So I've started over now too. I think the WNBA does a great job of this. They flirt the line of sometimes dressing in a way that my mom would not allow me to dress.
But, not let you leave the house.
Yes. But I think I have the autonomy to like understand that. And I think now with just like understanding how much people love like the walk-ins. And for me, I'm not doing it for other people. I'm doing it for me. I want to look cute. I, want to walk in and feel confident. And it's great social media. So like having stuff that I can look back at and be like, oh, that game, connect that outfit to that game. I remember this happened and all that. So for me, I don't really have, I would say I have a style and you can tell by the way that I do things, but I just will go to the mall and just whatever speaks to me. Maybe I'll wear that. I've been trying to get better with my basic pieces and being able to make sure I can get more than one use out of something. So recently I've been shopping at Target. I love a good deal, but I will pay.
I will cheap at Target.
Yes, I will pay almost anything for a good outfit that I like, but Target has actually been slaying so much recently. So this year I would say a fourth of my outfits were from Target and they were so cute. Yeah. So just picking and choosing different things.
Yeah. I love that. Well, you're doing good because I know it's funny because you've really created this brand on and off the ice. So I had to compliment you on that. I love that. And I also heard that you like to bake.
I do love to bake.
Do you bake for your teammates or just for Parker or maybe some post-win celebration, have something ready? Or tell me about some of your baking skills.
Great question. So I bring it back to a little story in high school. Every away game, I would come before we went to these away games. Say it's the night before, I would be
Okay.
stressing. I made a dessert for our varsity team before every game, away game. So I would bring a dessert to school. I would
Yeah.
leave it in the office, or I would leave it in the fridge, and then I would bring it, and all the girls would get one on the bus. One of my older, I think she was a junior at the time. I was seventh grader. I was doing it throughout the whole time. So I did it for like 6 years. And I remember how much like love I just loved giving people desserts, as well as seeing their ex like faces and everything like that. So now I love to bake just as it's calming for me. In college,
Mhm.
my teammates and the people who lived with me knew if I had my headphones in and I was baking to just leave me be.
Leave you alone. You're
Yep, that
dialed
was a way
in.
to deal with, either stress or, I had so much
Yeah.
schoolwork and all that. But now I bake for my teammates. I will bring it to skates. I bring it to my grandparents, my parents. And it's fun now, like testing out the healthier recipes in season. Like, 'cause in the summer, you can kind of just, it's cheat. It's a cheat. I call it's a cheat summer. Like obviously you're working hard and you're doing all these things, but I honestly just got new. It's literally right behind the camera. I'm gonna make scotcheroos tomorrow,
Oh,
and
yummy.
just
Oh
whoever
gosh.
is around can have some. And I try to now with just me and Parker. The kid can eat so much, and for me, obviously being a woman, I'm like, okay, you can eat 7 and I'll have 1 or 2, but he
Yeah.
can scarf them down. So he loves it when I make stuff because then he can eat it.
Oh, I know. That's awesome. Well, I got to go into our last part of the segment, and it's basically like a rapid fire, Taylor. So, like, you can make them short. You could just be one word, but I want to
Okay.
go through. So, I think I know the first one, but bigger
Okay.
moment: getting your championship rings. I should, plural, or your engagement ring.
You're actually setting me up for failure here, but engagement ring for sure because that's for life.
Yeah.
But I also like you can't like make up the fact that winning 2 championships in a row isn't important. So
Right.
I would say both, but definitely the engagement ring.
Okay. Who said "I love you" first?
Parker did.
Oh, okay. So, what is your go-to pump-up song, or do you have like a song that gets you ready before you hit
Anything
the ice?
Tate McRae,
Okay,
really. Hmm.
okay. First thing you do on game day, whether it's I know you your pancakes and stuff, but in the morning or the first thing you do that you make sure on game day that you do.
Skincare, so that I'm feeling good in the
Ah,
morning.
I know
Yep.
you're going to say that. Okay, your
Hmm.
favorite cheat meal, probably something you made, right? Maybe.
Cheeseburger.
Ah, okay. Okay. Hidden talent.
I can juggle. And I'm also really into like landscaping and plants.
Gosh, you do
It's not
you
like
do
a
everything. You got your very domestic side, Taylor, and then you got your
yes.
okay, hockey idol growing up, male and female.
Male Connor McDavid. He
Okay.
might not have even been by the time I actually watched NHL. That's probably where I was at.
All
Or
right.
Austin Matthews, and then female Hillary Knight.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs all day.
Do you have some dogs?
No, I'm gonna get one though sooner.
Okay.
I would say by the end of this year or beginning of next year, I'll have one.
Okay, perfect. Favorite teammate moment this season?
Oh gosh. Um. I wouldn't say specifics. Obviously, winning was great, but I love any like my line mates, Michaela Cava and Kendall Coyne. Schofield, anytime they scored, like I love our celebrations because Cava is like below my shoulder and Kendall's below my other shoulder. So it's like me and my kids. So though
Right.
that's my favorite those are my favorite moments is looking at the celebrations that we have.
Oh, I love that. Your dream vacation spot. Maybe this is the honeymoon. I don't know.
I've been to Hawaii, but I think I would like to go back,
Okay.
maybe. And then Bora Bora, every kid, I think in the 2000s, that was where they wanted to go. I don't know if I want to go there still, but the British Virgin Islands, anything
Okay.
that's like warm, but like cute, small, like in a little villa, I think that would be cool.
Love it. Okay. We always know there's a lot of smack talk in NHL, but the PWHL, I heard there is a little bit too. What's your favorite smack talk you've heard on the ice, or is it from you?
Oh gosh. I'm not a big smack talker. I'll give you more of a smile and like
Uh,
whatever. But
yeah.
like the best is like, who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. Like, your name doesn't ring a bell to me. Like that happens a lot. And it happened to me this year once, and I just laughed, and I'm like, I don't know, you must not hear much about this league, because or else you would know who everyone on this team is.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't chirp very much, but there's
Well,
a
I
few
think
people in
you
our
did,
league that
but,
can
yeah.
really get under your skin, and I'm glad they're my friends and they don't do that to me.
If you weren't playing hockey, I don't know if it's WNBA, where would you be? What would you be doing?
I'd be Caitlin Clark's teammate, I think.
Yes.
I wouldn't be Caitlin Clark, but I'd be her teammate. And I said I would love to have been Kate Martin at Iowa. So,
Okay. Coffee or energy drink in the morning?
energy drink. I'm currently drinking a matcha, so I'm more into my matcha grind right now. I can't get behind coffee. I don't like the taste.
I don't drink coffee either. I don't like it.
And I don't like the smell. So I'm like,
Same,
for 2 on that.
Yeah. What is the favorite thing that being from Minnesota, if someone's going to Minnesota, what should they do? What's the number one thing they need to do?
It's funny because I don't like to go there anymore, but Mall of America. Like, you have to go.
Oh,
like,
yes.
there's no
if,
ands, or buts about it. It kind of stresses me out. So I try to go to the smaller malls around. But everyone who goes there loves it. So,
favorite social media platform?
Right now it's TikTok.
Okay.
It really has me in. I'm in like wedding TikTok right now, though. So I'm not on my normal algorithm.
Love it. Walter Cup or World Championship gold?
God, they're both like best in the world.
You can only pick one.
That's a really hard one. I would, off the top of my head, would just say the world championships, because it's obviously the best of the best in the PW as well. But having everyone from all walks of life end up from the best in your country and you play them. Right. Obviously, if there was Olympics, that would be at the top. But yeah.
And lastly, what is up next for you? Let's say after you have this tremendous career in PWHL, what is next for Taylor?
I hope to have a few dogs by then. Parker will see if he's behind that. And then I want to live in Minnesota. So whatever it's going to look like, I can't promise anyone that I'm going to coach. I may do some private lessons, but I would love to just be in the Minnesota like world. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue in sports. I think when I'm done playing, that'll kind of, I'll know that answer right away. But I would love to continue to stay in Minnesota sports and continue to support girls and women and the sport of hockey as well, whether it's hockey, basketball, whatever it may be. I know there's something out there for me. So we'll see what it is. I don't know. Obviously, I want to keep playing for the time being. So I guess it's a surprise for all of us.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you. You have a fascinating career. I mean, it's so inspiring, empowering. I was so excited to talk to you because I've been following your journey. And so it's just great to get to know you beyond the ice as well. So thank you so much for joining us, Taylor. And congratulations and good luck on your future.
Thank you. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Bye, Taylor. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials at We Are Fearless SC and our website, wearefearlesssc.com. Until next time, I'm Bonnie-Jill Laflin, and I'll see y'all later. See ya.
You've been listening to Fearless SC. Find us on your favorite podcast platform, on YouTube, and across social media at We Are Fearless SC.